Hello, everyone. Welcome to 2D Board Gamers. My name is Dave. Today, we're going to continue my events with a printed energy, which is available for Wonder Man with his unique deck building. Wonder Man comes out in February alongside with Hercules. So that's pretty cool. Wonder Man is the seventh hero that has unique deck building. So let's take a look. So you may include events with the printed energy resource icons from any aspect in your deck. Set up, put ionic physiology into play. So every time you play an energy event, you put it on ionic physiology after the event is triggered, and you can have up to three. So yeah, so let's read ionic physiology. Permanent, max 3 cards tucked here. After you play an event with a printed energy resource, tuck that event from your discard pile under this card. Heal 1 damage from your identity. And Wonder Man gets +1 attack for each card tucked under ionic physiology. And as a force response, after you make a basic attack, discard each card tucked under ionic physiology. So you get the benefit of the event. It gets tucked under ionic physiology. And then when you do a basic attack, you get +1 attack. So that's pretty cool. So let's take a look at protection events that you can add to a Wonder Man deck. Okay, our first protection event is Aerial Intervention. It costs 0. Aerial Interrupt. When a character would take any amount of damage from an attack, exhaust an aerial character you control to bring up the 3 of that damage. Now, of course, you are aerial, so you could exhaust yourself, or I would probably have aerial allies that I could exhaust them. So that's pretty good. You can prevent the 3 damage from the character, and then you tuck it under ionic physiology. So, and heal 1 too. So there you go. All right, next we have is bait and switch. It's 1 cost event. Hero action thwart. The villain attacks you. Remove 4 threat from the main scheme. Now, if you are playing protection, you can have ways to beef up your defense event. You have a base 2, which isn't bad, but you're probably going to take some damage. But it's a good way to remove 4 threat from the main scheme. And then, of course, you tuck it under. You can heal 1 of the damage that you took from the villain. And then, of course, later on, you can have a +1 attack. So that is bait and switch. The next, we have cut both ways. The 0 cost event, heal or interrupt defense. When an enemy attacks you, you gain retaliate 1 until the end of the phase. So this is a nice way to get some retaliate, especially if you are engaged with a bunch of minions. This is a way to put a card under ionic physiology during the villain phase. So that's pretty cool. And then, of course, gives you you'll heal 1. So you could heal 1 of the damage that you took from one of the attacks, anyways. And then, of course, +1 damage when you do a basic attack during the hero phase. So that cuts both ways. Next is Defiance. The hero interrupt defense. When a boost card on an enemy attacking you would be turned face up, discard it instead. So this is pretty nice. You'll know how much damage you're taking, say from the villain, because it's the printed attack. And it's also, since the boost card is being discarded, it will stop not only the boost icons, but the star effect as well. So that is really nice. You add it to ionic physiology during the villain phase, more likely, and of course, heal the damage. And then you got another +1 to your basic attack for the hero phase. So that is Defiance. Next is Desperate Defense. It's a 1 cost event. It's a defense event, hero interrupt defense. When your hero defends against an attack, it gets +2 defense for that attack. If you take no damage from that attack, ready your hero. Now you have a base defense of 2. This will make it a 4. And the nice thing is, if you take no damage, then you will ready tuck this under the ionic physiology, heal a damage, and now you're ready for your base attack during the hero phase, which will give you another +1 to the attack. Next is First Hit. It costs 1. It's an attack, hero action attack, deal 2 damage to the villain. or hero interrupt attack. When a minion initiates an attack, deal 2 damage to that minion. Now, this card is really versatile. It has an ability you can do during the hero phase, which is attacking the villain. And then during the villain phase, then you've got when a minion initiates attack, deal 2 damage to that minion. You may even kill it before it can activate. And then, of course, it goes under ionic physiology. Next is leading blow. It costs 0. It's a tactic. Hero interrupt. When your hero makes a basic attack, discard the top card of the encounter deck. Reduce your hero's attack for that attack by the number of printed boost icons on that card. If that attack still deals damage, ready your hero. Now, this would be really good with an aggression deck where you've got aggressive conditioning and combat training on your hero. You do a basic attack. If you already had 3 events tucked under ionic physiology, you're attacking for a base 6. So now you would turn over a boost. At most, it's going to have 4 boost icons. So you're still going to do 2 damage. And so that would ready your hero. And now you have another +1 attached for your next attack, which you could do immediately, which then you could hit for 4 because of the setup that you have. So leading blow, I think, is going to be really good with Wonder Man. Next is Mutant Protectors. It costs 1. Play only if your identity has the X-Men trait, Hero Interrupt Defense. When an enemy attacks, put an X-Men ally into play from your hand, exhaust it, declare it the defender for this attack. Now, this requires some setup. You would have to be playing multiplayer, and someone would have to be an X-Men to put an honorary X-Men on you first before this card could trigger. And then you would have to have some X-Men allies in your deck so you can have one in your hand. So this is one I probably wouldn't do unless I am coordinating with someone, and we definitely want to do an X-Men heavy deck. Next is Preemptive Strike. Cost 1, Hero Interrupt Defense. When a boost card is turned face up while the villain attacks, cancel all boost icons on that card. Then deal 1 damage to the villain for each boost icon canceled this way. So this is nice. You'll know how much damage you're going to take from the villain, and you will be able to heal 1 when you tuck it under, and of course deal the damage based on whatever boost icons. Next is Repurpose. Cost 0. It's a skill, hero action. Discard a tech upgrade you control, ready your hero, and choose thwart, attack, or defense until the end of the round. Your hero gets +X to the chosen power, where X is equal to the upgrade's printed cost. Now, the article only showed us 1 tech card, the Jet Belt, and that is not a card that I would want to repurpose because that's pretty useful. You can exhaust the Jet Belt to generate an energy resource for an event, and as a hero resource, you can exhaust the Jet Belt and discard a card tucked under Ionic Physiology to generate an energy resource. So that card is very useful. So I would not repurpose the Jet Belt. So unless I am playing protection to use it for like energy barriers and the force field generator, I would not bother with repurpose. Next is Return to Favor. 0 cost event. Hero action attack. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck till you discard a treachery. Reveal that treachery. Deal 5 damage to the villain. So this one is, I mean, if you're willing to take a treachery on the hero phase, hey, you can do 5 damage to the villain. So that's kind of nice. It would kind of depend on how strong the encounter deck is, whether the return on investment is worth it for this card. But, you know, hey, it's a valid choice. It costs 0, which is great. And you get to heal 1 damage and, of course, be able to do another +1 attack with a basic attack. So there's that. Next is Stand Together. It's a 4 cost event. It's a tactic. It's an alliance card. When a friendly character would take any amount of damage from an attack, exhaust an Avenger character and a Guardian character, prevent all that damage, deal that much damage to the attacking enemy. So again, I think this will be good multiplayer, especially if the other player is playing Guardian. You can split the cost to pay for it. You can each exhaust an ally to prevent like a big attack from triggering. Otherwise, I don't know if I would include this because it is kind of spendy, and I think there are a lot better choices to put underneath ionic physiology, but it is a valid choice. Next is Stronger Together. Now, this is one of the cards that was in the Wonder Man preview article. It's a zero cost event, Hero Interrupt. When a character other than your hero would take any amount of damage, if that character shares a trait with your hero, reduce that damage by your defense. So you have a defense of 2, so you can reduce the damage by 2. Or if you are playing protection and you have defensive conditioning and an armored vest, well, now your defense is 4, so you could reduce the damage by 4. And then, of course, this goes under ionic physiology, and you can heal 1, and then, of course, you got +1 to your attack. Next is Subdue. It costs 1. Heal run up. When an enemy initiates an attack, the enemy gets -3 attack for that attack. So this is a nice way to reduce the amount of damage you're taking. Again, this is usually one that's going to happen on the villain phase. Tuck it under ionic physiology. You get to heal 1. And then, of course, during the hero phase, now you have another +1 attack for basic attack. Next is True Grit. It costs 1. Response: thwart. After your hero defends against an enemy attack, remove threat from a scheme equal to your hero's thwart. Now you have a thwart of 2, which isn't bad. You get to do 2 damage. However, if you're playing Justice and you put heroic conditioning and heroic intuition on yourself, now you could do 4 damage. And then, of course, this gets stuck down on physiology, and you know the drill. Heal 1 damage, and of course, gives you another +1 for a basic attack. The last 3 cards are cards you cannot play. We got the Psi Flail, the Psionic Manipulation. You have to be psionic to play it, and Shield Spell, where you have to be a mystic to play it. Now, I'm including these because if you do a search for events with a printed energy, they would show up, but these cards are not valid. So this wraps up my series for events with a printed energy resource cards that you can add to a Wonder Man deck. Now, as you can tell, there are quite a few energy cards, energy events. So you got lots of choices. There's also a couple pool cards. I added those at the end of Justice because Justice had the fewest, and I didn't feel justifying a video for just 2 cards. So that's going to wrap this series up. Hope you enjoyed it. Can't wait till February where Wonder Man comes out. I'm looking forward to playing Wonder Man. Also looking forward to playing Hercules as well. So there's that. Thank you for watching, everyone. Please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. Thank you.